A Kansas City woman is now being charged with second-degree murder after police allege she tracked down the man suspected of killing her teenage brother last week. Police said she sent a text to her dead brother afterward, letting him know she avenged him. Social media users are split on her arrest. Many are offering support for loyalty. Licensed professionals are also in support by saying experiencing trauma can deeply affect all those involved. Tatiana Coppage is a 21-year-old girl from Kansas City, Missouri. Her friends and her family describe her as funny and loyal. Sadly, Coppage was a young girl that tragedy continued to haunt her and her family. She struggled with seeing the death of her loved ones in a short span. In 2016, her cousin and brother were fatally shot at a Kansas City home. 6 children were in the home at the time. While some reports indicated that the boys were asleep while bullets pierced through the home, Ross' mother told KHSB that the children were playing the video game at the time of the shooting. The murder was not solved, but police said someone in the house was the intended target. This incident had an outstanding effect on Coppage and her brother, Jason.
After Jaden was hit, the bleeding boy went to his 12-year-old brother in bed and held on to him. Jaden died in his brother's arms.
But what can I say to him? Because he actually held him. He held his cold body, you know what I'm saying? How do I teach my son to cope with that? And I can barely cope with it.
A member of her family posted via Facebook, "Seeing my family struggle with death is a different pain in its own. It's like being cursed, but God got us through it all. Sometimes we tend to lose faith because of the amount of pain we go through, but God gives his strongest soldiers the hardest battles. I love all my people. Let's use this as a promise to come closer as family." But unfortunately, in less than 4 years, tragedy struck again.
A 16-year-old is now the latest homicide victim in Kansas City, Missouri. Police responded to a shooting Sunday evening near Topping and Paloma. They found 16-year-old Jason Uwu inside a home with a gunshot wound. Paramedics took him to the hospital where he later died. No arrests have yet been made. If you can help, call the Crime Stoppers Tips hotline.
Coppage's brother, 16-year-old Jason, was shot and killed January 10th in Kansas City.
Jason Ugwu Jr. hasn't seen his brother in years. Now his family says they're together again in heaven. We spoke to Jason and his father in 2016 when it happened.
He would cry, he just got hit and ran and laid up under his big brother, Like he knew exactly where to go for comfort, you know what I'm saying?
Jason Jr. told Fox 4 it was a difficult moment when his brother died.
I got to deal with that and still raise them. But what can I say to him? Because he actually held him. He held his cold body, you know what I'm saying? How do I teach my son to cope with that? And I can barely cope with it.
His family says Jason loved basketball and rapping, but fell victim to this cruel city.
A motive in her brother's murder was not immediately made known. According to family, they believe he was shot while he was with 2 other teens walking home from the BP gas station. His friends were able to get him back to the house where they called police. According to reports, Coppage allegedly believed a 36-year-old man named Keith Lars was behind the January 10th slaying that took her brother's life.
A 21-year-old Metro woman is charged tonight with murder. The Jackson County prosecuting attorney says it was retaliation for her 16-year-old brother's death.
On January 13th, police said Coppage met up with her brother's suspected killer in a parking lot near Thompson Avenue and Bennett Boulevard. Officers were initially called on a disturbance that was later upgraded to a shooting calling. There, police found evidence of a crime scene, but didn't find any victims. While officers were investigating the initial crime scene, someone in a Toyota flagged down members of the fire department, saying that someone in the car had been shot. First responders began rendering aid to Lars, who had been shot in the chest and the leg, according to charging documents. He was declared dead at the scene a short time later. Officers who responded to the scene at Thompson Avenue found 23 shell casings from 2 guns. When executing a search warrant at Coppage apartment, police found a shotgun that matched the second type of shell casings found at the scene, allegedly. Investigators also reviewed her cell phone and found texts sent asking for 45 caliber bullets. According to the affidavit, she also sent a text to her dead brother saying, "Sent that to my brother, I owe him that body." Once she was arrested, she allegedly told police she got into an exchange of gunfire with the victim and described the situation as self-defense. Coppage remains in the Jackson County Jail on a $200,000 bond. Today, social media users are split between her arrests. Many are offering support for loyalty, while others are expressing empathy for the many family losses. Rappers such as Sleepy Hollow and 42 Dugg are throwing their support towards Coppage following her arrest for second-degree murder. According to a screenshot on Instagram, 42 Dugg said, "I got 20,000 if they can get her out on 10%. Tell her people get with me." Sleepy Hollow shared a similar article on his Instagram story, writing, "Don't know her, but I love her story." In a follow-up, the baby caught wind of what 42 Dugg offered and said, "I'll match you a dub." Little Baby also said that as well. As of January 24th, she still remains in jail. Over the weekend was her brother's funeral, so right now I'm sure the friends and family have a lot that they're going through. There's a lot of people on the internet sympathizing with her. The mayor made a statement about this situation, calling it an adult problem.
They're recognizing adult problems. They're recognizing adult anger, adult disappointment. Sometimes they're finding adult solutions at too young an age to many of the problems that confound our city. That's what I fear we've seen in this situation, and that's what I think we're seeing too much of.
Another activist against gun violence said family death can be extremely detrimental to a person.
Suffer from a traumatic event, particularly a violent event, it does something to you. It changes you, especially if you were a witness to it. And so if you're a witness to a violent crime, you may not immediately notice the changes, but over time, it festers itself. And for everyone, it manifests itself differently.
You guys, let me know your thoughts and your opinions about this case. I would love to know your opinions. Let me know down below. Please be respectful in the comments. Love you guys. Talk to you guys later, and make sure you check on your loved ones. Bye.